Welcome to the Breakup Recovery Podcasts by your host, Barbara Stevens. Discover the wisdom and remarkable insights of Barbara Stevens, breakup recovery mentor, author, and public speaker. Barbara offers programs and solutions for any breakup so you can turn your life around, create lasting changes for the better, and embrace life again.
Hello and welcome to Breakup Recovery. My name is Barbara Stevens and I'm a breakup recovery mentor. In today's episode, I welcome back Elise Carr. And if you remember, I interviewed Elise in episode number 056, How to Bring Harmony Back into Your Life After Your Breakup. If you haven't already listened to this episode, please do. As we found out in episode number 056, Elise is an empowerment coach. And in today's episode, we are going to talk more about what Elise does and offers. So welcome back, Elise.
Thank you so much, Barbara. It's a pleasure to be here back with your lovely self, talking a little bit more this time about sensuality and sexuality from a really beautiful place.
Yes, because I know we didn't get to talk about everything that you do. You're a Tantra professional. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Sure. So sometimes, as you know, I briefly shared with you before when we were chatting, Tantra can be seen in a really different light, which isn't always correct. And we often have a misconception that Tantra is about sexual positions like the Kama Sutra, or that it's about how to have orgasms. There is a part of Tantra like that, but my focus being trained in and the direct lineage of the really ancient practice been around for tens of thousands of years, this is actually a way of life. And the way that I approach this from the ancient tradition is that we're learning to weave together our sexuality and our spirituality to awaken consciousness. And in a really simple way, this is about taking your sexual energy, your sensuality, and bringing it into a heart space, expanding intimacy, expanding loving kindness, expanding a reverence and a worship for yourself and then for your beloved, whether that's a current partner or a future partner, and coming together so that we can expand what the relationship is. So either expand your relationship with yourself so that you feel something greater than you. And this for some people might sound a bit esoteric or a bit metaphysical, and you can think of this expansion as your biggest, brightest version of self. Some people look at it as a connection to God or the universe or source. Essentially, it's about oneness. We want to feel that deep connection with all that, was, is, and will ever be, because that's essentially what we all crave. We all crave love and we all crave to give love. So it's a beautiful way of life to awaken that within us. And there are so many different ways we can do that. And that's part of what I guide singles and couples to achieve.
So if you're going to give one tip today, how do you feel that?
Well, as we kind of touched on in the first part of our conversation in the last podcast, I mentioned breath work. So starting with your breath, and I can share a video with you for your listeners to also watch. Learning how to breathe initially is so important, and we take that one step extra, one step further, and we learn how to move our sexual energy. So we can all relate to what it feels like when we feel turned on, when we feel juicy, when we feel very sexy, and we may reach a climax. But often that sensation is kind of just in the genitals. It's a very low vibration sensation. We don't feel it all encompassing and all throughout us and feel wow often. So we want to take that energy and bring it into your heart so you start to feel it. And yes, this moves into your breasts and into, that top upper region. And then we want to expand it to the whole body to start moving the energy through you so that you can then even actually use that energy to put into your day, to put into something creative that you want to manifest, to put it into your life in any way. So we're taking something that would normally be seen as, let's say, sex in the bedroom, to sexuality and spirituality and this energy that you can create within your body at any age and any stage of life, may I add, no matter, where you are on the spectrum, no matter what age you are or where you connect, to be able to use this energy in a different way. Because as we know, if we look at this even scientifically, everything is energy. Everything is moving, right? Vibrations of energy and matter. So we're just kind of taking it, to the next level and looking at us and the energy that makes us up, how we use that energy. And we have our life force, our day-to-day energy, but we also have sexual energy. And most people let that go. They lose it. They give it away by having, one-night stands or sex without love, or perhaps they're just losing it in detached ways. We want to bring in intimacy here. We want to bring in worship and reverence and a connection with yourself first and foremost, and then a connection with a partner if you choose, and to expand that from there so that in general, in life, we're feeling more deep, real, true love, deep intimacy, a deep connection. It's also something beautiful that we can look at is eye gazing, something really simple. Now, if you have just broken up with a partner and you're on your own, you can do this with mirror work, we call this. So just connecting with yourself, holding that space, meeting your own eye, starting to look into yourself beyond what you see, but actually into your soul. Because we say intimacy, especially when we do this with a beloved, is actually into me, I see. We want to penetrate your soul. We want to penetrate your heart, not just your body. So we're taking this deeper than normal kind of sex or, sexuality goes conventionally.
Or looking at yourself in the mirror can be quite confronting for someone.
Sure can.
We look at ourselves in the mirror probably briefly in the morning when we're either cleaning our teeth or we're brushing our hair or making sure that, we haven't got food on our mouth when we're walking out.
Yeah.
So what are the thoughts that you should have if you start looking at yourself in the mirror and you're feeling a little bit awkward?
That's a really beautiful question. Well, first and foremost, it's really good to have an awareness that at times we find it easy to be naked physically, but not naked emotionally. It's kind of like you're being your most vulnerable real self. You're actually confronting what you are. So coming from a place of reverence, as I've touched on, coming from a place of loving kindness, coming from a place of non-judgment. So let's say you have the courage to stand naked before the mirror and really connect with yourself. You do not want to be going, oh, I wish my thighs weren't so wobbly, or I wish my breasts were perkier, I wish my nose was a different shape. It's not about that. Because technically, your body is actually a divine temple. It houses your soul. It's just a beautiful little jumpsuit you get to walk around in. And yes, it is beautiful no matter what you may think at the moment. So we want to go beyond what we can physically see that has been influenced by society and media and relationships and whatever else, and actually start to look at the truth. Start to look at what organically is there. So we want to come from a place of saying something like, I'm so grateful for my beautiful body. I'm so grateful for whatever it is, for my flexibility, for my health, for the way my breasts are, for my beautiful bottom. And while you're doing this, you can even massage that part of you. Like let's say you get some beautiful organic coconut oil. It's the way you touch your body gently, lovingly, coming from that place of non-judgment. This is part of worship. Now you think to yourself, oh, I would love that if my future partner did that for me. Well, this has to start with you. You have to start coming from that place within you so that you step into that energy. So you create that kind of energy around you so that when you do meet your next beloved, or perhaps, when you deepen the relationship you've just begun, that person is going to meet you there. And you'll know what to ask of them, because let's be honest, your partner or your future partner isn't going to be a mind reader. You might have to guide them and teach them. So now you're starting with that place in yourself.
So when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you have that negative thought, like, as you said, my thighs are too wobbly, or
whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
To change that thought process into something more coming from
empowering.
Grateful. So tell me again the benefit of doing that.
What could not be beneficial from doing that? You're essentially reprogramming, like we touched on in the last podcast. You're reprogramming fear into love. And the more in alignment with love you are, the more in alignment with your truth you're going to be, the more alignment within your personal power within, this empowerment that comes from you. It's going to be able to shine forth, shine into your relationship, shine into the way you serve, the way you step up in life. So this will start perhaps on a physical level, will then go to, a psychological level, will then affect your emotions, will then affect, your energy too. You are able to shapeshift your life. You are able to change the reality that you are creating for yourself with your thoughts. And this is super, super powerful when you think of how many times throughout the day you may make judgments upon yourself. Really sit with that. Be really honest with yourself. This is so important to be honest with yourself here. And likewise, the judgments you place on others, because deep down they are a reflection of you.
Yes, and I think we're all guilty of making judgments on ourselves and others, especially when we're going through a breakup, because that's all we seem to be thinking about is the negatives.
Yeah, because we need to shift our perspective and detach from the drama and come back to what's important, which is love. And giving yourself love, being loving without judgment, without criticism, real pure love for yourself is the way that you're going to get yourself back on track, feel more you, and feel more open, healed, ready to welcome that next relationship when and if you choose.
And I guess it's taking time out for yourself in your busy life.
So true, Barbara. And this is the issue. You know, we rush, we put too much in our schedules. We need to absolutely factor ourselves in. We need to have self-dates, you know, whatever it is that you want to call it. Scheduling time for yourself is essential. And that may look, you know, really different for different people. It might be 5 minutes in the morning to have a beautiful cup of tea, or maybe it's, you know, going to bed early naked and just being with yourself on beautiful crisp sheets and just relishing in that. Loving the fact that it is just you in bed and that you get to sprawl out and just be in your own glory. However it looks for you, making time to just come from a place of love and reverence for yourself on a regular basis. I like carving out a little bit of time every day. To me, this is non-negotiable, and it makes me feel more fulfilled. And it's what I encourage my clients to do, so that when we feel more fulfilled, like let's say we're like watering cans, and we're filled up, we are then able to water the roses. If you are an empty watering can, you cannot serve yourself or be of service to those you love in whatever capacity it is, a relationship, you know, with your beloved, family, career, however. It all starts with us. It all starts with you and knowing how important it is. This is not selfish. This is essential. This is about self-care. And if you want to approach it from an essential way, you can. If you want to approach it from a really simplistic way, you can. It's a really personal choice, and there's no right or wrong.
And how true is that? Because if you don't take time out for yourself, if you don't start looking after yourself, if you don't start changing your thought process, how can you move forward with your life after a breakup?
So true. And how can you think that you're going to attract someone who you really want, who'll be kind of on your wavelength, who will, you know, grow with you and nurture you and love you the way you would really love to be nurtured and supported and loved if you were not doing those things first and foremost for yourself. So this is, you know, it's big investment here. You're investing in you. And the reality is this is the longest relationship of our lives, isn't it? Our relationship with self. So it's your number one relationship, I say.
So tell me a little bit more about the video.
So there's a 4-part components to this video that I'm talking about, and it will break down essentially how to move the sexual energy that is innate within all of us. Learning how to do the different movements, how to actually do the cycling of the breath, and then the benefits of that. I'll send you each of those links. You can watch them, you know, consecutively one after the other and start practicing along with this. It might be something that you want to do purely to get an understanding. It might be something you want to weave into during self-pleasuring if you choose, or during when you make love the next time. The options are endless in that regards. But to have an understanding that you have sexual energy within you, no matter where you are, no matter what stage of life you are. And this is something that it's untapped, is an untapped resource. This is part of our personal power. So learning how to harness this, learning how to use this, learning how to flow with it can actually be quite revolutionary for you, wherever you are, in any stage. And then if you get to share this with a partner, you know, who wants to take this journey with you, you can then enable this kind of sacred sexuality and spirituality to enter into your relationship together. And that in itself can be really beautiful and really powerful. So once again, it starts with you. So why not now, you know, use this as a tool, perhaps even for healing heartbreak, a beautiful way to invest in yourself. And as we've already touched on, this all starts with your breath. One of the most simple, fundamental things we have in life is breath.
Great advice, Elise. Where can people actually download this video from?
Best way to view any of my videos is on stellamuse.com, and that's Stella with an A, STELLAMUSE.com.
So I guess on your website there's other information about the empowering coaching that you do, the Tantra.
Yeah, you can call it tantra coaching, or just tantra sessions, what I call it. But yes, everything's on there, from my empowerment coaching to the tantra work and also the healing. So they're the kind of three main avenues that I work with. But I can also combine all of those in a personalized bespoke program. If you just want to do the coaching, we can weave everything into that. Otherwise, you can kind of pick and choose and go however you want to go, having a session here and there with the tantra and the healing. The main thing is to understand that everything you need is within you. There are just times that we need some guidance to help us really open up and tap into that power that we have that resides within us. So never think there is an issue of self-worth lacking. You have self-worth. It is there. You have a belief in self. You just need to wake it up. It's like Sleeping Beauty. But the kiss is not coming from a prince who's going to enter your life. The kiss comes from self. So it's just about investing in you and being that loving, compassionate, non-judgmental self for you.
Thank you, Elise, for taking the time to talk on this podcast and for sharing what you do and how important it is to start loving ourselves. And you gave us some great tips that we can all put in place straight away, and the links to your free videos. So thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you, Barbara. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me back once again. And I trust the beautiful listeners take home at least one juicy gem to help them invest themselves, and especially with their breathing. Thanks, Barbara.
I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode, How to Start Loving Yourself Again After a Breakup, with Elise Carr. Elise has a website, www.stellamuse.com. So that's Stella Muse, STELLSMUSE.com. So be sure to have a look at all the valuable information Elise shares on this site. And the last thing I'd like to say is, be gentle on yourself. You deserve happiness.
If you would like to hear previous Breakup Recovery podcasts, visit barbarastevens.com.au. Connect with Barbara Stevens on social media with Barbara Stevens Breakup Recovery Mentor on Facebook and at You'll Be Okay on Twitter. Read further blogs, view webinar replays, and download your free ebook, 3 Easy Steps to Surviving Your Breakup, and much more at barbarastevens.com.au.